Hey hockey fans, welcome to Goal Line Hockey. Today we're going to take a look at some NHL news around the NHL over the past couple of days, some rumors, some speculation. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe for content in the future. Okay, so we got a little bit of some trade chatter for this summer. Obviously, there's a couple of months until teams can start making trades, as the trade deadline has since passed back at the end of February. But there's some rumors about movement. And to start us off, the Buffalo Sabres, who have really struggled, probably been one of the worst hockey teams since December. Terrible season for the Buffalo Sabres after being in first place for a little bit of time in the beginning of the season. The Sabres completely tanked, fell off a cliff. They have to re-sign Jeff Skinner this summer. They have some glaring issues for this hockey team to address. And the rumor has been that they are willing to trade Rasmus Ristolainen in a deal for Ryan Nugent Hopkins of the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the reason this makes a little bit of sense is there were rumors back at the deadline that Rasmus Ristolainen was available, and the Tampa Bay Lightning were making a push to bring in Ristolainen. That, as crazy as that sounds, yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning were going to look to bring in Ristolainen. He's a really good defenseman. And now that Dahlin's become the number one guy in Buffalo, it's for some reason made Ristolainen expendable. I don't really agree with that. I think Buffalo has some issues on the back end as well. So I feel like trading him would probably hurt them more than it would help them. But they would be getting Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who we've seen this past season. The loss of Ryan O'Reilly for the Buffalo Sabres has been pretty large, and they've got young guys in the wings that can come up. You've got Casey Middlestat, hopefully going to be a top six center. Tage Thompson, another possibility for a top six center. So there's some leeway here, but I guess they see Ryan Nugent Hopkins as a good second option to start next season, and as soon as the end of next season, we could see him back on the third line like he kind of has been in Edmonton as a depth guy. But losing Ristolainen in that deal would definitely, I don't know how much I feel about that for Buffalo. In terms of Edmonton, losing Ryan Nugent Hopkins, yes, that's a tough blow, but that defense is awful in Edmonton, and I don't think I'm speaking anything other than the truth. The Oilers have really had problems on the back end. You've got Oscar Klefbom, Darnell Nurse. That's about it. You've got like Chris Russell, Andre Sekera. He might be playing in Bakersfield most of this season. So Edmonton definitely needs a defenseman. This would be a great trade for the Oilers. Yes, you lose some center depth, but that's part of this. And their defense is so atrocious, they probably need to make this move. And Ristolainen has a fairly good cap hit, so this could be a really good move for the Oilers. Not so much for Buffalo, but I could see where they're coming from. I don't know how credible this rumor really is, but it definitely has legs to it. So some big news coming out from Long Island, my Islanders. Recently, we've been discussing about, what's going to happen with the Islanders with Brock Nelson, Anders Lee, Robin Lehner, Jordan Eberle. You go down the list. There's plenty of names that the Islanders have to re-sign this summer. One of them being Anders Lee, their current captain. Supposedly contract extension talks have stalled recently between Anders Lee and the Islanders. And the rumored reason is because of duration of his contract, the length. So this is an interesting thing, possibly because things may have changed with the Austin Matthews contract, which I don't really know has that much to do with Anders Lee in comparison. But Lou Lamoriello may want to get a shorter-term deal out of Anders Lee, now looking at guys like Austin Matthews taking a little bit less on their duration of a contract, but Austin Matthews is in a totally different situation. A, he's a superstar, and B, he's a lot younger than Anders Lee. Anders Lee is 28 years old. This is probably his big contract that he's going to get, and we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I don't think Lou Lamoriello cares too much about losing two captains in 2 consecutive years. I don't think that's, if I know anything about Lou Lamoriello, that's it. He does not, the PR, yeah, whatever. That it doesn't look great. He lost 2-year captains. Lou Lamoriello is known for not signing bad contracts. So, let's hope things go well. The only thing that concerns me is now you wait till the end of the season and end of playoffs more than likely to start talking. And Anders Lee might already be thinking about alternatives. Minnesota, I'm calling it now. If he goes to the Minnesota Wild, it's going to be a rough year, Islanders fans. Speaking of New York area teams, we're going to take a look at the New York Rangers and the possibility that they could look at Erik Karlsson. And this little bit of a rumor has definitely interested me for the fact that looking at the New York Rangers, they are rebuilding. And Jeff Gorton's done a great job with this team so far. But the thing that worries me most about the New York Rangers is that they are willing to pay big money to Panarin, Karlsson, whoever else they want to get. And that's going to affect the rebuild for the Rangers. And you don't need to be bad for years, year after year. The Panarin thing, I see. Karlsson, I think, going to the Rangers, he would probably get a really good contract. And I don't think it's in the best interest of the New York Rangers to do that. And simply because once the Rangers start getting good, Lias Andersson, Filipino, probably Brett Howden. I really like Brett Howden once he eventually comes up. Once those guys start to come up and establish themselves as NHL players, they're going to start asking for big contracts. And the Rangers, when you've got a Karlsson contract for the next 5 or 6 years, when he's 32 years old, actually he's 28. He's 28 years old, but he is so injury prone. That is even that's a scarier thought. He's probably going to look for a 7-year deal. Get 32, get to 35, and he's done. So the Rangers definitely have some things to think about this summer in terms of that, and it's going to affect their rebuild if they make these big signings over the summer. Again, this could be New York media just bringing this out because that's how the Rangers have been for the past couple of decades. Kind of like the Toronto Maple Leafs, just buying guys and hoping that things stick. It didn't really work. It worked in '94, but since then, the Rangers haven't had much success with that. So, to wrap up today's discussion, we've got the Carolina Hurricanes to bring us home. As Adam Fox, who they recently acquired last summer in the Calgary trade with Dougie Hamilton and Elias Lindholm, that whole contract, Noah Hannafin as well. It seems that Adam Fox, who went as a piece to the Carolina Hurricanes in that deal, won't be returning to the Hurricanes. And looking in that trade, the Hurricanes definitely, you look at the two teams this season, Calgary Flames leading the Pacific Division, and the Carolina Hurricanes, to respect to the Carolina Hurricanes, they are more than likely going to make the playoffs this year. But Elias Lindholm, Noah Hannafin, that's a lot for Dougie Hamilton, and Adam Fox, who seems like he's just going to walk away. So, a tough blow for the Carolina Hurricanes. Maybe they work something out. Maybe they know that he's going to walk, so they try and trade him, and another team takes a waiver on him. Who knows? But we'll see what happens with the Hurricanes. Thank you for watching us here at Goal Line Hockey. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe as well. Thank you guys very much. Have a good day.